Hey everybody, this is Dr. Greg Rose. I'm out here at TPI. We're talking about On-Base University though. We're talking about baseball, and we were just having a conversation about the lead foot, and basically should the foot be square when you step out or should it be opened up? And we were looking at Twitter, somebody brought to my attention, looks like a hitting coach here, Craig Hyatt, was kind of talking about this on Twitter. And I think you can kind of see here, he's got all different views of different players, and you can see that lead foot. That's relatively neutral, I would say. You can see here's a player that turns the foot out, almost externally rotates towards the pitcher. And then we've got another one that's turned out. And obviously we know some of these players and turned out even more. There's one that's kind of more neutral. Here's completely internally rotated, right? So it kind of foot, toes pointing more towards the catcher than it is the pitcher. There's Mike Trout, kind of neutral. You can kind of see turn more out. So, I think this debate goes on and on, like from a coaching perspective, what's the best one to do? And I kind of want to show you how we would attack this here at On Base, and that's kind of more square, right? So how do I summarize all this with a recommendation? As far as I'm concerned, from a biomechanics standpoint, you want to put the athlete in a position that it's easiest for them to develop power and consistency, right? So if I'm taking my front foot and stepping my front foot out, the least or the more I have restrictions in my left hip, if I can't internally rotate, so turn into my lead hip, it's really restricted the more I turn towards the catcher. It's a lot easier if I turn towards the pitcher. Now I don't have to internally rotate. It's easier to get my legs around and be able to post up and create that power. So to me, this is a question of, well, what can they physically do? If they have good internal hip rotation, well, go ahead, you can keep them square. If they have poor internal hip rotation, I'd probably recommend turning it out and go with it. So how do you test that? I'll show you how we do this with On Base. Literally, all you do is have your athlete stand up, get their feet 1 foot width apart, right? So basically what I do is I put their foot here as a guide. I put the bat so it lines up with my toe, and I just put my foot around. So that's one of my foot widths apart. So you just get it close. It doesn't have to be perfect. Now take a bat, put a bat right between their feet. I'm using a bright colored bat here so you can see this. And literally get it close, again, just so it's somewhere in between. Now what's really, really important, make sure that's in there, is you don't want to see their hips turn. If their hips turn, they're cheating and they're not giving you good information. So I put my hands on my hips, on my player, put my hands on their hips, and I say, don't move your pelvis. If their pelvis moves, then you'll hold the pelvis. But starting out, you have them stabilized. Now what they should be able to do, if they have good hip internal rotation, they should be able to, without turning their hips, tap the bat. Right? We call that the toe tap test. They should be able to tap the bat without turning my hips. Now watch, you'll see big different story on my right hip. That's as far as I go on my right, well short. Left, no problem. Right, I would have to turn my hips to get there. So I've got a restriction in my right hip. Now, we're not talking about right hip right now, we're talking about lead hip. So for me, because my lead hip actually can internally rotate, I think I'd be okay keeping my foot square. If I was, let's say I was going lefty, I'm going this way, I think that would be very restricted for me. It would be way easier if I turned this foot out. I could actually post up better and create a little more power. It's a quick way to be able to screen your athlete, see if the foot should stay square or turn out. And if, let's say the hip is restricted and you want their foot to be square, well, guess what? Now we got to go in the gym. Hope that helps you next time you're working with your little leaguers or even your major leaguers.